This video is intended for someone purchasing their first H2. This video is going to be piggybacking off a few of my prior videos, what to expect buying a high mileage Hummer H2 and factors when purchasing an H2. So you're between buying a high mileage or a low mileage H2. Let's kind of quickly define what is a high mileage H2. Again, the question to me is going to be almost irrelevant. The fact that these vehicles are pushing 20 plus years old, to me that's more concerning. The more owners that you have and the more miles, in all likelihood you're going to have more issues. Now, if you have a high mileage vehicle with low owners, for example, maybe it's a 1 or 2 owner Hummer H2 with 250, 300, 400,000 miles. It has zero issues, runs incredible. The owner is taking care of the vehicle. Maybe they're getting older now and they can't get into the vehicle. They want something smaller. They're downsizing. Maybe they have multiple H2s and they're getting rid of one. I would say go for it. I would much rather purchase a vehicle with 300 or 400,000 miles with a great owner than purchase a H2 with 150,000 miles and 8 owners. So something definitely to consider. Now, what is a high mileage H2? The answer to that question, it's going to be extremely subjective. And the reason I say that is these vehicles, some owners have taken them to 3, 4, 5, 600,000 miles plus. One guy actually took it to 627,000 miles. I believe it was an 08 6.2, and he now has a diesel underneath the hood, so he's probably approaching 700,000 miles now. When it comes to a high mileage H2 for a first-time buyer, again, there's so many factors. The amount of owners, was it garage kept, was it having its life in Texas, was it living in a place like Vermont or Maine or Montana and constantly getting hit by salt and snow. So again, there's going to be so many factors. For a first-time buyer, if I was to do it all over again, I would look for something sub 100K or around that 100K to 125K mark, because at that point, that's where I feel most comfortable. That's what my gut says. Hey, I'm going out and buying a Hummer H2, 75,000 miles. Maybe you can find one for like 85,000 or 65,000. I've seen some crazy deals that come up. The dealers that know how to move these quickly, they understand that it's a very, very niche market when it comes to this vehicle. So let's say the dealer purchases an H2 off someone for $15,000. The vehicle has 75,000 miles. They will sell it to you to break even or even take a loss just to get it off their lot, get their money back, and then they can start taking that money and they know they can invest it and make more money in a different vehicle. So if you do follow the market, don't be surprised when you see an H2 come up. Like I recently saw a sport utility truck, all right, that's got the back cut off. It was actually a yellow one. I think it was a 2000, I don't know, I think it was a 2005 actually. Yeah, it was. And it sold for like $16,000. I think it had 85,000 miles. At that mileage, I mean, the vehicle looked like it was in brand new shape. The price, there are some of these H2s, these dealerships want, 16, 17, 18,000 for almost a 200,000 mile vehicle. And then you have one guy saying, hey, I got the H2, 16K, sub 100K. That's an absolute incredible find. Now, again, use AutoList, or I like AutoList, as Edmunds. Those are good places. Even you might find somebody on Craigslist. Something to consider too is a lot of these owners are, I hate to say this, but they're getting older. They're dying off, and their kids don't want the vehicle. You got to understand, these vehicles came out 20 years ago. If someone purchases this vehicle in their 40s or 50s or 60s, these people are, they're either in overtime, they're in the fourth quarter, or third quarter in life. So I actually had a lot of older people that have taken family, and they can't get in the vehicle. It's too much for them. Even with the without the side steps, they won't get in. With the side steps, they can get in, but they prefer to drive something else. So just something to think about, in your search. Now, as the miles increase on an H2, something to consider is it's like dents. Like, look, I got all these like chips. They're all over, like, paint chips, right there. There's a dent down there. It looks like there's a dent down there. It needs fixed. This actually recently happened, which is really a bummer. I think I got some spray paint right here. It doesn't come up on the camera guy. I got some camera guys. I got some scratches right there. What else? Somebody took a bite out of it right there. People, they don't, when they fill up, they don't wash off or wipe off the fuel. Oh my God, it's been a long day, long vacation, guys. I'm actually on vacation this week, and one of my goals is to upload all these videos for you guys. So, doing my best, I really am. But again, this will happen. If you don't wash off the fuel, so you're filling up, make sure you wipe anything off there. There's right there. Somebody put a key mark right there. Somebody put their initials in right there. This door was actually vandalized. It was like that when I bought it, so I had to replace the door. The new door it's kind of jacked up. Looks like it might have been keyed. Again, some scratches. Looks like right there. Scratches right there. Another bite mark right there. So something else to consider, guys, is when you're looking at these H2s and you look at a photo of H2, you'll say, wow, that photo looks so good. It looks brand new. Let me tell you guys, look, I mean, my vehicle, it does look incredible. It looks great. And I'm backing up to show you. You guys cannot see all of those little minor issues, those chips in the paint on the front, on the door, possible the key mark. It's not going to pick up. It's not going to pick up. It doesn't pick up in photographs. Even like the cowl, I repainted the cowl, and I had a really tough time getting the paint to match up. It doesn't match up. Now it looks good. It's off the vehicle right now because I've got some windshield wiper issues I'm working through. But again, it blends in the photos. So when you guys see these photos of a high mileage H2, you're like, wow, that looks so good. Well, in all likelihood, it's not picking up the chips in the paint, the clear coat, possible rust marks. I think I've got some marks on the roof as well that need cleaned up. So something to consider. One of the biggest differences between a low mileage and a high mileage H2 is the paint. When it comes to purchasing a high mileage H2, if you want to learn about the vehicle, you want to run into lots of, I shouldn't say that. You could have the potential for running into issues, okay, more issues than you would for a lower mileage vehicle, and you're going to become an expert real quick. If you're going to buy one of these vehicles, you got to learn about it. All right, I don't recommend buying the vehicle and I've got a Hummer H2 and it's great, I love it. Well, tell me, how about when you work on it? Can you work on it? If the answer is no, you got a problem. So you're buying one of these vehicles, you got to take on the educational aspect of learning how to work on the vehicle. You're going to have more respect for the vehicle. Something pops up, you're going to understand, you're going to be able to diagnose how to fix the issue. Okay, so again, pretty much the primary difference between a low mileage and a high mileage is paint, potential issues you're going to run into. The higher mileage H2s, in all likelihood, the transmission, a stock transmission with 200K, it's a big question mark. You had a great run if you hit 200K on a stock 4L65E. These transmissions, I know I say this in a lot of my videos, guys, and I'm not saying that just to repeat myself, but I'm just pushing home facts, things that I've learned. Again, anything after 125K, big question mark. So again, you buy one of these for 15K, set aside the funds. I recommend having about 5 to 10K just to get the vehicle, possible like maintenance stuff. Now, something else to consider is, even if you buy a low mileage H2, okay, let's say 50,000 miles, and you buy of H2 with 150,000 miles. You're still going to have to go into the engine bay. Fuel injectors, you're going to need clean throttle body, intake, filter, spark plugs, fluids. In all likelihood, if you're buying an H2, let's say with 50 to 100K, if you find a low mileage one, in all likelihood, it's going to be around that mark. You're still going to have to change all the fluids, front diff, rear diff, transfer case, transmission fluid. So when it comes to working on the vehicle, it's going to be the same. Low mileage H2, you're going to have a better opportunity to have almost no rust on the vehicle. All right, I know I've been rambling off quite a bit. I don't want to forget anything. Something else too I wanted to mention in my prior video that I just uploaded is I went with this is the wheat interior. It's great, super comfortable. However, I wish I had the black interior. The black interior looks much better than this. And you can see I'm switching all these pieces over to black. I got black doors. The black just looks so much better. And with me doing the headliner in black and the red, it's just something to keep in mind. Carbon fiber. So those are carbon fiber, and it really doesn't come up well in the video, but let me tell you guys, getting this carbon fiber trim, I got more carbon fiber on the way. The 2006 and 2007 models, it looks so good inside those vehicles. Probably, in all likelihood, it's probably the best H2s are the 06 or 07 limited edition vehicles. Here's something else to consider. Let's say you do find an H2, like I've seen one with mega low miles, I think it was like 466, we'll say sub 1,000. The fact that the vehicle's 20 years old, has 1,000 miles on it, so literally, what are we looking at here? 50 miles a year. So that's great. It's got super low miles, but a problem that I'm going to be running into with something like that. What type of damage is going to be done with fluids in the vehicle just sitting there more or less for 20 years? You let a vehicle sit for 20 years and just on the original fluid, again, that can cause issues in itself. So if you do find one of those mega low H2s for let's say 5,000, 25,000 miles, with it being such low miles, again, that's something to research. It's difficult for me to comment on an H2 that low because obviously I've never worked on it, and I don't really know what fluids just sitting in a vehicle on low mileage can do to the vehicle. Is it going to be okay? Is it going to do damage? Were those fluids changed? Were they drained? So again, that opens up more question marks if you go super low, and that's something you'd have to really research. Bringatrailer.com, you can really find some great H2s on there. They come up for sale, so something to keep in mind. So we're going to wrap up this video. Just a quick recap. You buy a high mileage H2, in all likelihood you're going to have more issues. Chips in the paint, the more owners, that's going to be an issue. Where is the vehicle located? Is it in like a salt belt, rust belt area? Is it in a southern area? For me, again, guys, my gut says if you're buying an H2 and you want to get in the game, if you want an SUV, okay, I've got an SUV right here, it's an 05. I would recommend going for the 2007s. Typically, they're a few $1,000s more, but I have noticed just even off the door panel I bought that I'm putting in the vehicle, the door panel is much higher quality than the 2005. You can see that the 05 right there, it's just jacked up. So I would shoot for like a 2007 or possibly a 2006 limited edition. There's some of those limited edition runs. I don't know the official number. I've read 500, I've read 256. In all likelihood, it's probably something like 100X. So let me know what H2 you guys, and if you guys have watched this video all the way and you have an idea for a video, post a comment and I will make a video for you.